Ah, hello, football fans. Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, Joyeux Noel. Any language you speak, it all means the same. Um, so, we're 3 weeks away from the end of the regular season. That's right, 3 weeks. How time flies. And week 16 is upon us. It starts with Thursday Night Football tomorrow. And yeah, it's the late start, the late end of week 15 has kind of delayed the playoff scenarios from being posted on NFL.com and all these sites. I had to go to Twitter to find them, but I pretty much found the accurate ones. But before I give the scenarios, here's how things look entering week 16. First, we'll start the AFC. The Kansas City Chiefs are back on top of the conference, all by their lonesome at 10-4. Patriots and Titans are right behind at 9-5. Though the Patriots have the tiebreaker, better conference record. Uh, in the number 4 spot is the Cincinnati Bengals. They took over the AFC North lead over the weekend with their win in Denver, and they're not the only 8-6 team in the AFC. There are four others that have that same record, but all in the wild card picture. The Colts are the top team. They have the best conference record at 7-3, so they're ranked at number 5. The Chargers conference record of 5-4 puts them over the Bills and the Ravens. And speaking of those two teams, they have the same conference record, 5-5. But the record in common games goes to Buffalo, which means that the Ravens went from having the best record in the conference to being behind the playoff line in less than a month. Yeah, if the season ended right now, Baltimore would not be in due to being behind in many tiebreakers. And it's all because they had to go for two in those games against Pittsburgh and Green Bay and failed. Speaking of Pittsburgh, they're right behind the 8-6 teams at 7-6-1, and you have four more teams at 7-7: the Raiders, Dolphins, Browns, and Broncos. And it's the Raiders leading all of them because they've beaten the other three. And no additional eliminations in the AFC. It's still the same three teams that are officially out: the Jets, Texans, and Jaguars, who have the lead for the number one draft pick, so they could win the Tank Bowl for the second straight year. Uh, which would be another repeat in Florida. But anyway, um, the NFC. In the NFC, the playoff-bound NFC North champions for the third straight year, the Green Bay Packers, are all alone with the best record, not just in the conference, but in the entire NFL at 11-3. Behind the Packers are three teams at 10-4, and leading the 10-4 teams, the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, the Cowboys' 8-1 conference record puts them at the number 2 spot over the Buccaneers and Cardinals. Ironically, Dallas's only conference loss was against Tampa, but when it's a three-way tie, conference record holds more precedence over head-to-head. Tampa's ahead of Arizona. They have the same conference record, 6-4, but it's the strength of victory, that complicated mess, that puts them over Arizona, who is free falling. Entering last Monday's game against the Rams, they were the number 1 seed. They've gone from number 1 to number 4 in barely over a week. And even worse for the Cardinals, they're tied for first because the Rams are 10-4. However, the Rams hold the main wild card spot because Arizona has a better divisional record. They're 4-1 in division play, though the one was against the Rams, and the Rams are 3-2 division play. So that's the difference right there. The Niners are 8-6, holding the number 6 spot, which is the second wild card position, and you got three teams at 7-7, but the lead team and sitting above the playoff line, the Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings have the common games edge over Philly, and they've beaten the Saints. Of course, so actually Philly has two. That's why they're ahead of the Saints. Washington and Atlanta are both 6-8. Carolina's barely hanging on at 5-9. So Seahawks have that same record. This is their first losing season since 2011, and the Giants are just waiting for elimination, and which is what the Bears received on Monday. They're officially out, and so will Matt Nagy in a few weeks. Okay, so so that's the picture, and now of course the Packers clinched the spot of week 15. One The win over Baltimore gave us the NFC North, but we're the only team to clinch. Only one. only team to clinch this late in the season. 13 spots remain. 7 teams can clinch spots. 7 teams can clinch spots in the playoffs in Week 16, and 5 divisions can be won. 5 divisions. So we'll start with the AFC. We'll go in order by standings, and we'll start with the Chiefs. Of course, the Chiefs 10-4, 10-4, leading the conference, and they're coming off that overtime win against the Chargers. Big overtime win. They host the Steelers. But there's problems. I'll get to that later. Now, Kansas. Now, as far as getting to the playoffs, it's simple. All they have to do is win. Win and they're in. Plain and simple. If they tie, one of the following 4 teams, just one, has to lose. The Bengals, Ravens, Colts, Bills. Only one of them has to lose if Kansas City actually ties Pittsburgh. As far as winning the division, they have to win. They have to win, and the Chargers lost or tie to do it. If Kansas City ties, the Chargers have to lose. But I mentioned the Chiefs situation. They host the Steelers. They host the Steelers this week, but there's a problem. Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Harrison Butker, their kicker, all in COVID protocols. That's 3 of the most important players right there. They're all in COVID protocols, so they're not going to be playing. They're most likely not going to be playing at home against Pittsburgh. Which makes this game pretty wide open. And Pittsburgh's called off that comeback win against Tennessee. We don't know. They might beat the shorthanded Chiefs on the road. So we'll see how that goes. Next up, New England. New England is second in the AFC at 9-5. Their winning streak ended with their loss to the Colts. But their playoff scenarios have gotten a bit simpler because last week it was a whole bunch of it involved a lot of tiebreakers and junk. But as far as getting to playoffs, they either win, a Baltimore loss, and either a loss or tie from Pittsburgh or Cleveland. Actually, wait a minute. I read that wrong the first time. I read that wrong the first time, and I actually typed it wrong on Vocal. When it gets published, I'll edit it. But it says they need to win, a Baltimore loss, a Pittsburgh loss and tie, and a loss or tie from either the Colts or Cleveland. So those would get a bit. Or they would need to win, a Colts loss or tie, and a loss from either the Chargers or the Bengals. That's 3 and 4 right there. Their 5th scenario is a win, a Chargers loss, and a Raiders loss or tie. Now the Patriots host the Bills this season. They've already beat the Bills once, and if they beat the Bills again and Miami loses or ties, they'll win the division. But yeah, so that's New England. And then Tennessee, the Titans failed to clinch it all. They failed to clinch. The only way they could get in last week was win the division, but the Colts won, so they had to wait a week. As far as getting the playoffs, they have 2 scenarios, and they're both kind of crazy. Now both scenarios involve a win, a Buffalo loss, and a Miami loss or tie. That's in both scenarios. However, scenario number 1 has them needing all of that plus a loss or tie from the Browns, Steelers, Bengals, and Broncos. That's number 1. Number 2, they need to clinch straight to victory, and I'm not going to get into that because it's a big headache. But it's a pretty long scenario. But as far as winning the division, it's simple. They win, the Colts lose, they get it. Tennessee kicks off Week 16 hosting Thursday Night Football against the Niners, the last Thursday game of the season. And the Colts are in Arizona, the slumping Cardinals. In the NFC, of course, Green Bay holds the number 1 seed. We've already clinched. So we go to number 2, which is Dallas. Now, Dallas has very simple scenarios. Now, they host Washington on Sunday Night Football, but they could actually clinch as soon as tomorrow. 3 things could get them in: either a New Orleans loss or tie, or a Tampa Bay win or tie, or a San Francisco loss. The Niners play tomorrow night, so they can get in as soon as tomorrow. As far as the division, they need a win or tie, or a Philly loss or tie, or they clinch straight to victory. And it actually says how they can do that. 1.5 or more combined wins from the Vikings, the Falcons, the Patriots, the Jags, the Raiders and the Chargers. That should be easy. That really should be easy. 1.5 wins. That's a win and a tie. Uh, Tampa. Tampa's third in the NFC. They could get in with a Minnesota loss. It says Minnesota loss or Rams win. Rams win. They play each other. So if the Rams beat Minnesota, that'll do it. They'll be in the playoffs. If they win, but if the Tampa Bay wins, they win the division. Or they'll get it if the Saints lose, but that'll back them in because the Saints play on Monday against Miami. And Tampa is in Carolina facing the Panthers, but we all know their situation. The running backs out for the regular season. Chris Godwin's out for the remainder of the whole season, including the playoffs, if they should they get in. And they're gonna have to rely on Antonio Brown to pretty much beat Devontae Adams, like Devontae Adams is for Green Bay. But yeah, so that's what they're facing. But they have an easy scenario. The Cardinals, for the third straight week, they have the winning in scenario. But the last two ties they've had it, they haven't done it. A winner tie, they're in. But there are a whole bunch of ways they can get in. The first scenarios 2 through 4 involve a San Francisco loss. A San Francisco loss and a loss or tie from either Vikings, Eagles, or Saints. We'll do it. So Thursday can kick it off. The scenarios 5 and 6 involve a Minnesota loss or tie, but to get that and a loss or tie from either the Saints or the Eagles, that'll do it. Or if the Saints and Eagles lose or tie together, that'll do it. They have 7 different ways to get in, but the main thing is they need to win, and they can do it Sunday. They can do it Saturday. They host the Colts. Beat the Colts, you get in. They can't win the division though because they're tied with the Rams. And as for the Rams, they have a couple simple scenarios. They win, they're in, and they play the Vikings. So congratulations to the Rams. Or Philly, a loss or tie from Philly and the Saints will do it. Philly hosts the Giants, so Philly may not lose that game, but we don't know regarding the NFC East. But yeah, Philly hosts the Giants, and yeah, Minnesota and Rams play each other. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So those are the scenarios. They're not up on NFL.com yet, which annoys me because I think the late end to week 15 with the the things we shuffle around because of the immense amount of positive tests. That's why they're delayed as far as posted online. But they are up on Twitter. I read it right now. So those are the scenarios. 7 teams can get in. 5 divisions can be clinched. Both South divisions, both East divisions, and the AFC West. So, Week 16 is usually when the playoff pictures start to shape up. It's Christmas weekend, and then so that's when things start really shaping up. Because after this, there's 2 weeks left. We're really in the final part of the home stretch here. So things are going to get interesting. Numbers are going to be thinned out. No AFC team can be eliminated this week, but three in the NFC can be eliminated. The Falcons, I think it's the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Giants all face elimination. But as far as the AFC, not yet. I think not. We'll start seeing those numbers thinned out in week 17, so that should be interesting as the playoff picture starts to shape up. But anyway, those are scenarios for week 16. If you like this video, click the like button, click subscribe if you want more. And all I ask for this week, have a great Christmas. Enjoy the food, enjoy the family, and enjoy the football. If your team is involved in a clinching scenario, really enjoy it and really try to keep pace with everything else. Do some scoreboard watching, and I'll be back to review Week 16 and congratulate any teams that make it. So stay tuned.